There you have it. Song number 3 this week on MSI Music Scene Investigation, where our panelists will delve deeply into it. Today's guest panelist, John Schroeder. John, your thoughts on song number 3 today, sir?
It's quite interesting. It's sort of powerful. I couldn't make out. I would like a little bit more space between the track, which is very domineering and heavy and in your face. And the other here, the vocals with the word surrender kept coming to me through my headphones. I could really decipher too much else. I also felt there should have been a little bit more light and shade in the arrangement. Production is good. I think it holds up. There was that gap in the middle where it's sort of rather empty. It could have had something a little bit more measured to be that thing. But on the whole, an interesting track. I'm not sure what the direction, what the idea is, where it's aimed, what it's aimed at, where it's supposed to be going. But yeah, very interesting.
All right. Ian, what do you think, sir? What are your thoughts on number 3 today?
This instantly reminded me of Bernard Butler. Bernard Butler was in a band called Suede, and then he was sort of left and had a solo career. And he first out was very, very much like this. The production, writing, the voice. And that, to me, is a good thing. I love that album. So it was a good start with me already. My biggest criticism was the acoustic guitar. It sounded beautiful, but it was far too loud and a little bit over-compressed in that mix. It was just dominating everything. There was some piano, beautiful vocals, but it was all just a little bit lost behind that dominating acoustic guitar. And I didn't feel there was enough use of the harmonies on this track. There were some beautiful harmonies on it, but I felt they could have used more harmony on bringing that chorus in and lifting the whole thing a little bit more in places. Very engaging. Lyrics, again, were beautiful. It's a beautiful, adorable song. I didn't like the sudden ending either. I felt the ending was a little bit too cut off and could have just played out a little bit more, broken down into the separate instruments again, maybe just to the acoustic or the piano, and just faded itself out a little bit more. But yeah, mix, strong production. 3 great this week on that sort of level.
All right. Okay, Tom, number 3, did it kick any dirt up on your porch?
I like this one. I know there's something that need fixing. The vocal may not be a level thing. It could be a compression, EQ thing, especially because of the effects on it. The guitar was just beautiful, and I think it was at the right level. Everything else needs to be just as brought to the same series of perfection and perfection, because I mean, obviously there were some little things wrong in there. It could have been EQ'd slightly different to I liked it. I liked the way it was EQ'd, honestly. I would have EQ'd it that way, but I would have EQ'd everything else differently so that you would have had a harder, a very soft vocal over a bigger track. Track was starting to get big, which I liked, with very few instruments, which is hard to get. You know, I give this a plus.
Okay. All right, so it sounds to me like everybody liked something about every song that we had on this week. Of course, now's the time of the show where you guys have, as I always say, the unenviable task of deciding on what song of these 3 you're going to select as song of the week. Yes, sir?
Who was it?
You want me to introduce this one too? Gee whiz. All right, let me see. This song was Surrender to the Change by a group called The Glorious. Surrender to the Change by The Glorious. There you have it. Now, all three songs have been properly introduced, Ian.
Superb. And look, it's on the screen and everything. Fantastic.
I've been working very hard at that. Now, gentlemen, don't try and slough off on this task. You still have to decide the song of the week. What say you? I'll let you discuss it amongst yourselves, and you guys decide what you want to recommend.
I recommend number 3.
I'm
torn.
number 1.
John recommends
You
number
think
1.
You reckon number 1, do you, John?
Yeah, I like 3. But I think that it's between 3 and 1 and 3 is 1.
You see, that puts me again this week in a situation because, one, really great start to the show for me. I really enjoyed it. But if I was going to go out and buy one of these two, it would probably be number 3. So where do we go from here? John wants number 1. I'm left to decide the whole thing.
Yes, you are.
The other problem
Well,
I've got is
if you want, I'll make it easier for you by threatening your life.
well, you see, this is my concern, Tom. If I go with number 3, which I'd like to, it looks like I'm siding with you again. And, this is not where I want to be. It's doing my street cred absolutely no good.
Last
So
week
do you
I
want-
was odd man out.
Yeah, do you want me to go with number 3 then?
You go with what you want. You go with what you want. At the end of the day, if you want number 1, John, you stick with number 1. Just make it hard on me. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
I make it
Just
hard on you.
means
I do like.
Okay, I am going to go. If I was going to go out and buy these tracks, it would be number 3. So I'm going to say number 3 is Song of the Week.
All right, so there you have it. We have 2 votes for song number 3, 1 vote for song number 1. If I had a dog in the fight, I would have picked song number 1. Our audience, however, has the same thought as both Tommy and Ian, selecting song number 3, however. So there
Sorry, John.
Yep.
Some lose some.
That's true. Thank you.
Rich.
Yes, sir.
Rich, this I hear about rumours we're doing another show for download.
For what?
For download.
Speak up.
What's all this? We're doing another show for download only.
Oh, yeah. Got to tell people about that. What Ian speaks of, and he does know what he speaks of, is the fact that we have been doing some interviews with our guest panelists, and making those, or we're going to be shortly, making those available on our podcast. So if you're not a subscriber to the podcast, now's a great time to subscribe to it so you'll get that extra content. The first interview we have in the works is with Paul Miro from Apes, Pigs, and Spacemen. And it's quite a nice interview, actually. A lot of really cool information about projects he's working on, as well as some insight into how he puts together music and what he does on his free time, which might surprise you a little bit. But,
Surprised me.
yeah, it did me as well. So I think you might enjoy it. So subscribe to the MSI podcast in iTunes. John, sir, a pleasure having you with us. I mean, a gentleman of your caliber is always great to talk with, to meet, to have on the show. We do hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you very, very much for having me on the show, and thank Ian for putting me in that direction. And I really, really enjoy it. I don't get really too much chance for this type of thing, reading records.
We'd love to have
Really
you.
back to the old days.
We'd love to have you back on the show with us anytime you'd like to, sir. Just beat Ian over the head.